peace in the present moment. Everything I desire is already mine. I make space and time for my imagination. My intuition provides me with important guidance. Through stillness and surrender, I manifest my dreams. I deeply trust in the universe to support the manifestation of my dreams. I am worthy and deserving of my dreams. It is safe for me to dream big. I allow myself to imagine the most amazing possibilities for my life. I am fearlessly following my dreams. I courageously share my creativity. Compassion for myself and others strengthens my connection to the universe. I am open to receiving divine guidance. Life always supports me.
Shivai Bashar.
And to you, Shivai.
Greetings, old friend. During our last interaction, my question to you was about our government, and you said
we talked about the idea of the difference between a republic and a democracy. Yes.
No, but you said we are. Our government.
You are your government.
Our government appears to be. My question is in several parts.
Yes.
Having to do with the Illuminati bankers and the fact that it appears very clear at this point, with no doubt, that there are forces that have seized control that are out to kill large numbers of people.
Stop. One of the other things in terms of information that will no longer be coming through this terminal will be the support of fearful theories.
It's not a theory.
Stop. What we are saying is, we understand that people like you're describing exist. We understand that people on your planet have those kinds of intentions. But the point we made is that you all put them there. So if you don't want them there, remove them. Empower yourselves to empower them to be true people and not people acting out of fear. And remember, again, there is no just one world. You are constantly shifting to different parallel realities. So whatever vibrational state you choose to be in is going to ultimately be the parallel Earth you will experience. If you keep focusing on the idea of those who are trying to control and focusing on the ideas of fear, that will be the kind of world you will experience. But at the very same time, the people that focus on the idea of self-empowerment will ultimately, at the same time, experience another parallel Earth where no such people exist.
Well, isn't everybody in this room experiencing the same reality at this time?
No, that's the point that you're missing. They're not. You are experiencing similar realities by agreement, but they're actually not the same.
So is there people in this room that don't have any clue and won't be affected at all by the FEMA camps, the 78 million coffins that our government has already ordered?
There are those
American
that will
citizens?
be affected by it because they choose to live in fear. There are those that will never see it because they don't. It's that literal.
Can you share with us if the population of the planet is going to be significantly reduced?
Which planet?
Earth.
Which Earth?
This current reality, this
You're
current
missing
collective.
the point. You are shifting from parallel reality to parallel reality billions of times per second. Decide what reality you prefer. Some Earths will be depopulated. Some won't. Any variation of this idea that you can imagine is real. Shift to the one you prefer. They're all real. Shift to the one you prefer. Period. You understand? They're all real. Shift to the one you prefer.
Yes and no. I understand what you're saying about
no, you obviously
creation. Don't. You're right. I mean, I don't, because I wish I knew how to shift to a world where
you are shifting. You are always shifting. The way you shift to the world you prefer with the energy you prefer is to be that energy yourself first and stop buying into the ideas of fear.
But I try and look at reality of the world around me and interpret it.
You are forgetting what we talked about in the sense that every single thing is fundamentally neutral and has no built-in meaning. It doesn't matter how it looks. Remember, the measure of the fact that you have changed is not based on whether the outside changes. It's based on whether your response to the outside changes, regardless if it looks the same. That's how you know you will not be affected by anything you don't prefer to be affected by. Because that's the energy state you've created, and it doesn't matter how it looks, and it doesn't matter what anyone else's intention is toward you. You cannot be affected by someone's intention until you believe you can be or choose to be.
So are there people in this reality right now that, just looking back to the past, were not affected and didn't have a negative result from all the actions that have been taken so far?
Yes. Wrap your mind around it. Thank you.
Thank you.
The universe is made out of energy. It's not made out of matter. And then I say, well, what does the quantum physicists call this energy that the universe is made out of? I say, well, they call it the field. I say, what's the definition of the field? I love this. Invisible moving forces that influence the physical world. I go, my goodness, that's the same definition as spiritual is used for spirit. I go, yes. Quantum physics, emphasizing the invisible field as primary to the physical world, is essentially reiterating the statement of the spiritual people who talk about the invisible forces shaping our physical existence. And so, by definition, science, the new science of quantum physics, is bringing us back into alignment with the spiritual reality.
Because I'm fulfilling my purpose of life. See, everything was created for purpose. Trees have a purpose. The moon has a purpose. Rats have a purpose. Insects, everything God created has a purpose. That's another one of my lectures entitled The Purpose of Life. And the wise man is he who knows his life purpose. See, 10 men with the knowledge of their purpose are more powerful than 1,000 men working from morning until evening and who don't know their
That
purpose.
power is like, it's one force, right? It's one God force on this planet, and we are given free will to do what we want with that power. You can use that power for good, and then you can use that power for evil too. But there's only one power. So when people say the God and the devil, no, there's only one. But you can use that force for bad. That's what these people are playing with. They're playing with that energy that exists out here that we all have access to.
Him, because him will be an incorrect terminology. You don't give a creator of a universe a gender. There is no gender. God is a frequency.
The thing that I've noticed is that a lot of people that talk about spirituality online, they only talk about the good part. You know, they talk about love and light, and they make it seem like this shit is all peaches and cream. But they don't tell you about the dark side. They don't tell you that when you actually open up your third eye and you actually start seeing beyond the matrix, bro, it's a lot of pain and suffering that comes with that shit, right? And so you got to understand that pretty much everything we was ever taught was a lie. So when you become conscious, you have to reprogram the way that you think. So this means you have to go back in your mind and you have to resolve past traumas. You have to confront your own demons. And see, a lot of people don't want to talk about this. They want you to think that it's all about love and everything is sweet. But they don't talk about the real shit. They don't talk about the fact that, you know, you can become depressed from having all this spiritual knowledge, right? Because you can become so elevated in your consciousness to where the physical earth bores you, the physical earth is beneath you, and you can begin to hate this realm. Because look, man, I'm gonna tell you some real shit, man. I know a lot of people who got too deep into this conscious information, and they ended up just, you know, crashing out or taking themselves out. You know, because you got to understand, man, this shit is not for the weak of heart. This shit will break you. This shit will destroy you. You talking about taking everything that somebody has known to be real and true and destroying that shit, right? And rebuilding your whole life, rebuilding your whole mind from the ground up.
So many people use weed to self-medicate.
Some people don't use marijuana to self-medicate. They use alcohol, and it may be less obvious. They use shopping, and it may be less obvious. They use sex, and it may be less obvious. They use work, and it may be less obvious. They use the gym, and it may be less obvious. They use service, and it may be less obvious. So many of us are self-medicating our trauma, doing the best that we can to survive, instead of dealing with the trauma head on to go through the pain until we're able to actually.
You are the slave of your higher self, C-E-L-F. You are the servant of your higher self until you become your higher self, then you're free. This is why they say you are born a slave. You are. You're a slave to yourself. You're a slave to the addictions that your cells want. You're a slave to the made-up realities of your language. You're a slave to your fears and this kind of thing. Once you realize that I am the eternal, immortal being that speaks without this body, has existence without...
People are always trying to challenge me. So today was the day I accepted the challenge. They were gonna go out for a run. And they didn't care how far we went. When the distance is unknown, that's when your mind plays tricks on you. There's a movie out there called Usual Suspects. They're looking for the baddest guy in the movie named Kaiser Sose. They can't figure him out. It ends up being this guy who has a limp, talks all crazy. At the end of the movie, he didn't have a limp at all. He was just fucking with him. Well, guess who the Kaiser Sose is of this story? It's me. We took off running. When I started running, I have a bad limp. So they thought they had the old man down. Little did they know, when you tell me there's no fucking distance, go as far as you want, that's where you fucked up. There's a start line to quitting. And when you believe the end is near, that's where it starts. I took them on. Past 20, 30, they all dropped off. Hey, look behind me right now. They're back there looking for their motherfucking souls.
Are the vocabulary of the brain. Feelings are the vocabulary of your body. How you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So then if you wake up in the morning and you come back to your senses with a clean slate and you say, I don't feel anything, you say, well, let me start thinking about all the problems in my life. Well, all those problems are connected to different people or different objects or things at different times and places. The moment you remember your problems, a memory is a record of the past. You're thinking in the past. Every one of those problems has an emotion associated with them. So all of a sudden you start feeling unhappy, you start feeling bitter, you start feeling frustrated. So now your body's in the past. So then most people then create a state of being that's connected to their past. And if they're in the familiar past, then they are going to crave the predictable future and they're going to fall back into routine.
I find peace in the present moment. Everything I desire is already mine. I make space and time for my imagination. My intuition provides me with important guidance. Through stillness and surrender, I manifest my dreams. I deeply trust in the universe to support the manifestation of my dreams. I am worthy and deserving of my dreams. It is safe for me to dream big. I allow myself to imagine the most amazing possibilities for my life. I am fearlessly following my dreams. I courageously share my creativity. Compassion for myself and others strengthens my connection to the universe. I am open to receiving divine guidance. Life always supports me.